The first one is, after McCaffrey, the number 2 player in fantasy should be?
Saquon Barkley.
The next Dalvin Cook or round 2 running back who's going to be top 5 in 2021 will be?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Your favorite fantasy team name that you've ever had or seen?
Okay, so I normally don't go super punny, but the one that comes to mind, I did have a fantasy basketball team a long time ago that had Gordon Hayward and Stephen Curry, and I believe I named it Curry on my Hayward son.
Love it. The next Chris Godwin or round 4 to 5 wide receiver who explodes into the elite will be?
That's got to be DJ Chark.
2020's Mark Andrews or breakout tight end will be?
TJ Hawkinson.
Who is your most hated NFL player specifically for fantasy reasons?
I would say probably Larry Fitzgerald. I feel like he's burned me. I'm just always on the wrong side of Larry Fitzgerald.
If there was somehow another Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, it would be?
Kyler Murray.
Which early rounder, first or second, is going to bust the hardest?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Who gained the most fantasy value during the 2020 offseason?
Well, just on the Twitter hype machine alone, it's got to be Deontay Johnson.
Conversely, who lost the most?
Man, probably someone on the Patriots. I think Edelman has dropped a good bit, or maybe a running back like Kerryon Johnson with Swift. He's fallen pretty far.
I won't leave rounds 5 or 6 without blank.
Christian Kirk.
Do you play Settlers of Catan?
I have never played Settlers of Catan even once. I'm not even anti. I just I guess the circles I've traveled in, it has never popped up. I've been at parties where it has been out, and I thought maybe I will break my cherry, and it just hasn't happened.
So you should break it soon, my friend. Great, the best game ever made. I just like to ask every expert to see who also plays. The next sophomore wide receiver after or even before A.J. Brown should be?
Terry McLaurin.
Target hogs or workhorse backs?
Target hogs all day.
Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Austin Eckler were all top 5 RBs after round 7. In 2020, that'll be?
I believe he's probably on the round 6, 7 ADP fringe. I'll say J.K. Dobbins.
What are your ideal league settings?
Yeah, I love Superflex. I love tight end premium, and I love kind of deep benches that even have a taxi squad too. So I would say, and I will say I've come to love best ball because I do not like managing leagues in settings. So I'll say a best ball tight end premium Superflex league with some taxi squad spots if it's dynasty.
Love it. After Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams, owners should draft blank at wide receiver.
It pains me. Mr. Toxicity himself, Tyreek Hill.
Blank was the most important coaching move for fantasy, specifically for blank's value.
Oh, man. So I'm not generally a coach truther, but Jason Garrett is now with Saquon Barkley, right, in New York. Mm-hmm. So I think that could be interesting because they kind of underutilized him last year, and we know Jason Garrett has no problems feeding a workhorse.
Absolutely. Do running backs matter?
No.
What is the funniest last place punishment or side bet you've either witnessed or been a part of?
So I actually have never been part of a traditional last place punishment, but back when I was doing my podcast, the Fantasy Football Comedy Hour, we would do weekly DFS 4-man contests, and the loser had to do stuff. And my buddy Brian had to do a 5-minute fantasy-based stand-up set for us. I could probably dig up the audio, but watching my buddy just have to do fantasy jokes to us was pretty enjoyable.
That's awesome. And we'll wrap it up here with your boldest 2020 fantasy prediction and then just a reminder of where our listeners can connect with you and find your work.
Yeah, I've said this one now. I believe this is the second time I've said it on record, but I really kind of want to associate it with me. So I am going to say it here. I apologize that this isn't maybe the scoop, depending on when you put this out. But Christian Kirk outscores DeAndre Hopkins this year.
Ooh, man.
Is that spicy enough?
That is as spicy as they come. Wow. Love it. And could you mind just dropping one more time where our listeners can kind of find you and find your work and everything?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter way too much at Peter Overzet. Trying to get the TikTok rolling. It's P Overzet there, and then yeah, just gonna be doing a lot of kind of shows and podcasts this year. My buddy Pat Carrain, who writes for Establish the Run, we're launching our high stakes podcast, Ship Chasing, soon, so you can keep an eye out for that. I do Lulz with Brian Hooper. I do the Swolecast with Roto Grinder. So yeah, lots of places. Probably too many places. No one should consume that much Peter Overzet, but it is what it is.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.